minutes, then we'll get started and we can introduce and welcome people as they join. But
yeah, sure.
then we'll get started and we can introduce.
All right.
Hi, Jenny. Just saw you put that note in the chat, and it's good to see you. Well, okay, I can't see you, but it's good to have you on with us. And yeah, it's going to be fun for people to identify who they are and who they're with, because we have a really good group. And then Oliver and Terry, well, to the rest of the group. I also reached out to the police and fire today, and what else? Um, there are some others that I'm going to reach out to. Like we talked about yesterday, the hospital. So I have a contact at Catawba Valley Medical Center. So I'll contact him.
Are you
All right, you
able
want to
to,
get started?
I was
Yep.
starting to say, Bruce, were you able to get anyone from the city of Hickory, like
Well,
Karen?
I've been working on her, yes. And so I
Okay.
just emailed her again, but I did contact her, and I texted and emailed her. But yeah,
Okay.
working on that.
Yep.
That would be helpful. Well, Lance, so Avery Lance is definitely going to join our group. He's part of it. He just can't make the meeting today, but that's going to be it. So we'll talk about it here, I'm sure. But we're shooting to have our bike safety course. So you've participated in the summit before, and one of the components is a bike safety course, and we're shooting to have that at the rec center because they've got the classroom. It's ideally suited for that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Lance is a perfect fit for that. I love that guy.
Well, yeah, it's just Lance is just full on.
Yep.
Oh, well, that's being recorded, right? Forget that, Lance.
All right. Well, why don't we go ahead and just jump in and get started? And if anyone joins us, we can do some more introductions later. But thank you all for being here. We'll go through and explain a little bit about our organization, who we are, and what we do, and then a little bit about the summit. So, Bike Walk North Carolina, we're a statewide advocacy organization that supports educational and advocacy outreach efforts to support non-motorized transportation around the state, along with educational safety efforts for vulnerable road users. So in each and every year, we host a summit. It's a part of our grant through the Governor's Highway Safety Program to host a North Carolina Bike Walk Transportation Summit. This summit, as you see there, it's a multi-day conference focusing on safety, health, community design, equitable dimensions of active mobility, features national and regional speakers, and it also offers interactive, sort of hands-on active workshops throughout the course of the conference to really get out and see the community in which we're hosting the event. Past conferences have been hosted in Wilmington, Winston-Salem, Charlotte and Raleigh, but also some smaller communities like Salisbury. And it was 2 years ago when we hosted in Salisbury, and we really found that these smaller towns offer a lot of walkability and bikeability, but also opportunities to kind of see where towns like this what directions they can go to improve their bicycle and pedestrian infrastructure. And then with Bruce coming on board as a board member just in the last couple of years, Hickory really came to the forefront as an opportunity for us to highlight and bring planners and advocates from around the state to the community to really showcase the steps and the measures that Hickory has taken to improve their bicycle and pedestrian infrastructure and programming as well. So we're really excited to be there. Just I live up in Boone, and so I drive down 321 pretty often, and I see that big. I've watched over the last couple of years that big pedestrian bridge come in. So it's been really great to see that, and then also visiting the downtown and having a little tour of the downtown with Bruce the other day to visit some of the venues. Myself, the staff, and the board of Bike Walk North Carolina are really, really excited to see where this can go and what opportunities we'll have there in Hickory. So we'll go around, and sorry, I didn't introduce myself first. My name is Oliver Sendel, and I serve as the program manager for Bike Walk North Carolina. Um, my primary roles are working with communities to bring our friendly driver program to communities throughout the state, and that's part of our grant with Governor's Highway Safety Program. And then I serve with myself and Terry and Kylie, our other staff, work to plan this summit every year. So we're really excited to have everyone on board. Bruce has done a really great job of networking within the community and having, so it's been great to have sort of boots on the ground in the community to really identify who may be a good fit for this planning committee. So I'll kick it to Bruce to introduce himself, and then we'll kind of go down the line from there.
Okay. Well, certainly the people in the Hickory area know me, and there are some people that I've just gotten to know recently. But I'm a 4+ year resident of Hickory. I've been involved in some of the transportation safety initiatives in the area and in the city, but mostly with Avery at the Western Piedmont Council of Governments, and we had a movability committee, and then now there's a transportation safety committee that's focused on putting together a transportation safety plan for our region, so for our 4-county region, and I'm sure Avery will probably talk about that too. But what's really interesting is we have that effort underway right now, and then the city also has a transportation safety plan underway that they got funded through a Safe Streets for All grant. And the really interesting thing is the same consultant, VHB, is doing both plans, so that they should correspond well with each other, minimize some conflicts, and that should be very helpful for our region. And those plans will get done by the spring, which will be upon us really soon. So that's what I'm up to. And then I'm a board member with Bike Walk North Carolina.
Great. And Avery, do you want to speak a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you, Bruce, for kind of the introduction there. I am Avery Ritchie. I am with the Western Piedmont Council of Governments and also with the Greater Hickory MPO. I'm the Transportation Planning Manager here. We do also a lot with ADA transition plan writing. So we've been identifying barriers within some of our municipalities that have contracted with us. We also are doing a regional bike and pedestrian plan right now. We're putting together a steering committee for that and sending out surveys, that type of thing. As Bruce mentioned, we're also doing a regional safety plan, which has been awesome, just to look at our high injury network and likelihood factors that could influence, future accidents. What we're trying to do actually, and Bruce, we haven't mentioned this to the subcommittee yet because we just, found out about additional federal funding coming down for resiliency planning. What we're trying to do is pair what we have in a local GIS tool that we built in-house. And it has to do with disaster mitigation and relief efforts. But we're trying to pair some of that data with our regional safety plan data so that we can get, this livable adopted document in place that hopefully can focus on pairing some of our major safety issues also with these resiliency concerns. And we're looking at all modes of transportation. We think that it'll open up the region to even more than just the SS4A funding once we get this plan up and going. So we've been, having initial conversations with DOT on that. And I'm just really excited for the opportunities that we have presently.
That's fantastic. Terry, I know you dropped your information in the chat, but if you want to say a few words as well.
Yeah, thanks very much for everybody being here today and supporting Bruce and Oliver and Bike Walk North Carolina and helping us plan this summit. The summit really came about from the idea of one of our board members 14 years ago who said we should gather everybody across the state and have a conversation together. And that really has been the impetus. And we've done it for 14 years. We're approaching our 14th year now. Even through COVID, we had remote summits and very well attended. Um, we try to choose different areas in different parts of the state each year to host a summit. And we have kind of some parameters we look for. We try to go big city, small city, urban, rural, East Coast, West Coast, Piedmont kind of thing. And they really Hickory had balanced out very well. And this is all before Helene happened. And we are so happy to at least bring the conversation to Western North Carolina about how we have an opportunity to change the way we live, work, play, and use transportation engineering to be better in Western North Carolina. And we're so glad that Hickory has been so welcoming. I mean, look at the people that are around us today that are contributing their time and effort to help us in this process because well, we could do it on our own. It's never easy to do it by yourselves, and it's always easier to do it with people. And you guys are the boots on the ground to help us represent Hickory well and to represent the organization well for Hickory. So thank you for being here, and thank you for supporting Bruce and Oliver.
Thank you, Terry. And Jenny, if you want to say a few words.
Hi, everyone. Once again, I apologize for having my camera off. I am recovering from an ACL surgery, so I don't look my best right now, so I'd rather keep the camera off. But I'm Jenny Romero Hill. I'm the executive director of Centro Latino, and I'm just excited to support the efforts and provide maybe the Hispanic point of view on safe streets for all, and just excited to be a part of this. And any idea, send them my way. I'll be more than happy to be part of any information that needs to be translated to Spanish. And if Spanish, if the Spanish population is someone we'd like to reach out to and provide this information to, Central Latino is more than happy to provide our center, our resources, and yeah, just happy to be here. And thank you, Bruce, for inviting me.
And
My
Tracy.
pleasure, Jenny. It's great that you're here.
Hi, everybody. My name is Tracy Hall, and I'm the executive director of the Catawba Science Center. I've just recently met Bruce. The city is working on a grant, a Safe Streets for All grant, and Ginny and I were invited, along with Bruce and another gentleman, to be part of a focus group. I am very interested in the Bike Walk NC Summit. I think that there are ways that we can help promote the summit to our audiences. Bruce came over and did a tour with me at the Science Center, and we recently got the city involved in an exhibit that we've got that we're opening at the end of the month called Imagine, Design, Play. And one area of it is going to be transportation road tiles and city buildings that kids can kind of build a city and create roadways. And we're looking at putting some signage in and some information about street safety in that area. But we're also looking at maybe in the month of April, highlighting transportation engineer careers and having people come and host a table to help our visitors that day learn more about transportation engineering. And I could see the Bike Walk NC Summit being featured and information given out to our audiences so that more people are aware that it's coming and can find out how they can get involved.
Great, thank you. And Morgan.
How's it going, guys? I'm with Defeat. I would like to thank Bruce for inviting me. Mainly, I'm here because he invited me, and I just wanted to say hello to everybody. As you know, Defeat, we're in the cycling industry. We just got a building, not just, but previously, the past couple of years, we just got a building downtown Hickory on the City Walk, and we see a lot of potential in the area and how we can continue to travel safely on bikes and walking paths.
Great, thank you. And Ted?
I'm Ted Silver. I'm president of BWNC. I'm the former program coordinator for the cycling studies minor, the only one in the country at Lees McRae College. And I want to welcome you all. Thank you for your support to help make this 14th annual Transportation Summit a success. Hickory may be small, but I think they're making big impression with their plans and their future. So I'm glad that we're able to do our summit in Hickory and give everybody an opportunity to see what can be done, even on a small level. No disrespect meant, but Banner Elk's smaller than Hickory, so I can say that. And I just want to, when I saw Morgan on here, I did want to call out, Defeat has helped us in the past with some socks and stuff. And it's just nice to see our local industries jumping in to help support what we're doing around the state. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And finally, Kylie.
Hello, I'm the Community Outreach Coordinator for Bike Walk North Carolina. So I will be helping a lot with our outreach initiatives and social media management. Thank you.
All right, great. So I failed to mention earlier, so the dates for this year's summit, we early on established sort of early September as our target time frame for that. And since that time, in speaking with some venues and looking at our programming and dates around what will work best for us, we have now voted on and identified the summit dates as September 7th through the 9th. And that is going to be a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, that weekend following Labor Day weekend. So hopefully a good deal of summer travel will be over with at that time, and starting to creep into that little bit of fall weather, at least get most of the heat out of the air there. So really excited to have that established. And then, so I'll talk a little bit about the key tasks that we have that we'll be working and asking for assistance with from this committee. And that's really securing and coming up with ideas for sessions and keynote speakers, either areas of interest that those on the committee may have outside of the local area, as well as if there's anything that you think really pertains specifically to the Western Piedmont or to Hickory, or something that is happening in Hickory or the Western Piedmont that you think would benefit attendees from around the state. Really looking for additionally sponsorship ideas. If you know of companies in the area or have connections with companies or organizations in the area that you think would be a good fit for sponsorships, that would be something that we would really be looking for engagement with and assistance with outreach to those sponsors and beginning those conversations, making those introductions so that we can then pursue and communicate with those sponsors directly. Then finally, really working with us on the promotion of the event locally and really getting word out to those residents in Hickory and the Western Piedmont surrounding area that this is taking place, that we'll have statewide representatives from around the state coming to that area. And this is something where both businesses and organizations in Hickory can really use this as an opportunity to do some cheerleading on their own behalf and say, highlight programs that they've done or opportunities that they think exist that would be worth sharing with others around the state. And then finally, we have those on the call today as part of this planning committee. But if you feel as though you know somebody or know an organization that would be a good representation or work for good representation on this committee, we would love other ideas on who we can reach out to engage with in the community. So to give you, I wanted to first start with a little rundown as well as what we have identified as the general outline of activities for those 3 days. Our primary session date for the bulk of our programming will be on Monday, the 8th, and we have that tentatively secured at the Hickory Convention Center, as well as hotel night room blocks at those hotels in close proximity to the convention center. We feel like that space really gives us a great deal of flexibility as far as configurations and opens us up to different session programming ideas and configurations for that layout. But that said, in past summits, we have really focused on that main day of programming and sessions. However, this year, based off of feedback that we've received and just the number of session ideas that have kind of been brought to us over the last couple of years, we've really decided that we want to add some programming and sessions on that Tuesday as well. So traditionally, we start off the week or start off the summit itself with a speaker and sponsor social on Sunday night. This, while it says speaker and sponsor, this always includes those on the planning committee as well. So you can go ahead and put that on your calendar now for Sunday evening, September 7th. And Bruce and I visited Defeat, where Morgan works, just the other day, and we've already begun that conversation of hosting that event there, which I think would be a really great space. The Defeat Clubhouse, if you haven't had the opportunity to visit, is a really cool space. And so would be a great venue for us to host that Sunday speaker and sponsor social. Typically that involves a little bit of catering, usually beverages, food and wine, or beer and wine from local vendors or sponsors. And then just a way for those on the committee, sponsors as well, to meet with some of our marquee national speakers that come in from around the country. So that's the primary event for that Sunday night or that first day. And then that Monday looks a lot like a traditional professional conference would. And that would, again, be taking place at the convention center. We'll have sessions going on throughout the day. And again, those sessions are something that we would really like some engagement with the planning committee to identify topics and potential speakers for those. That Monday night, we usually have a much bigger social gathering, for all attendees beyond just the speakers and sponsors and committee members. And we've already spoken with City Walk Brewery, and it looks like they've got a great space, both indoor, outdoor flexibility. Again, that time of year, it's pretty ideal to be outside in the evening. So looks as though we'll be having that social at City Walk Brewery on that Monday evening. And then, like I said, we've typically done, if you're familiar with bike and walk audits, that has been the bulk of our Tuesday programming. We still are definitely planning on having bike and walk audits of the Hickory area, but we will also, we've spoken with the warehouse there just across the train tracks from City Walk Brewery about utilizing that space as a host for some of those other sessions that will take place on that Tuesday morning primarily. They'll also be able to provide us with food and beverage for breakfast and lunch. And then finally, traditionally, we also host what is called traffic cycling for transportation professionals. That is a class certified by the League of American Bicyclists for transportation professionals, for them to get a better understanding of what it is to ride in traffic on city streets, so that they can take that information and take the knowledge that they've learned from that and applying that to their roadway design and infrastructure design. So that is something, the idea has been put out there. Usually that involves some classroom space and some parking lot space for some skills training, but then also bike ride around the city for that. So Bruce has, I believe, reached out to the Parks and Rec Department about having that take place there. So that's just a basic brief rundown of sort of what that schedule will look like. Terry's laughing, so maybe not quite so brief. That was, but I wanted to give you an idea of what that might look like. So I have a link there of what we have had or for speaker ideas in the past, but I just kind of wanted to open it up, not just for those on the committee, but also those staff and board members that we have joining us to kind of brainstorm a little bit and see, just some topics. We don't have to go into great detail at this point in time, but if there are some topics or areas that you might like to see covered in those sessions, we can go ahead and begin to at least create a list of those. And then between now and the next meeting next month, myself and staff and the board can begin to potentially identify what speakers may be able to best cover those topics. So I wanted to go ahead and open that up. And then also, if anybody from staff or the board, Bruce, has any additions to make, please do so.
I'm going to try to draw folks out. What I've also suggested in our previous meeting today, we have a monthly advocacy call for folks who are working on policy issues across the state. And some of the things that I'm wanting to propose is to talk about how local advocacy groups are formed within bike clubs. And I think that might be a good opportunity to have a session about bike clubs, running clubs, anything along those lines for active transportation, about how to be better advocates for what you do in daily life that affects the world around you and your safety. Some of the other things that came up were potentially not necessarily for Hickory at this point, but their traffic safety division might be interested in learning more about how to manage enforcement around vulnerable road users and protecting their safety as vulnerable road users. I think it would be good to kind of draw in that professional component as well. We had also another great suggestion about maybe having a group table session for how does the industry look? We know that Western North Carolina has a lot of bike. I'm just throwing this out there since I see defeat here. Has a lot of industry around supporting walkable, bikeable athletics, physical health, all those bits and pieces, maybe how they work together and understand what they're doing and how they're doing their jobs to protect people's health and safety, as well as be professionally successful and profit by doing business in North Carolina. Lots of different concepts like that. So it doesn't have to be kind of, oh, it needs to be this or that, but we're also looking for conversation about, is there someone you've seen on TV, on YouTube, or in our state that really is remarkable in how they're presenting the case for life well crafted in Hickory, and maybe how we can make it better in Hickory with some of the ideas that we're seeing. I wanted to kind of be open, but I also want to give you some tangible pieces to kind of think about that maybe what you're looking for. I know that Jenny's here with the Hispanic community, and maybe we have a conversation about the impacts of people in particular segments of the community. It can be anything we want to at this point, but we really are so grateful for the work that we've done on the organization piece to get to Hickory and set the date. that we want to make sure that we represent Hickory well and the conversations that we want to have there. So thank you, Oliver, for letting me jump in. But yeah, just want to kind of give you some hope. And this is not something we're looking for a solve today, but it's a conversation piece that we'll have every time we meet. But yeah, if you have any ideas, that we'd love to kind of hear anything that you might have to offer today.
Oliver, since I saw Morgan, hate to put you on the spot, Morgan, and I know your dad's away, but when you mentioned industry, we know that North Carolina, especially around the Western, I mean, between Defeat, I-9, Fox, Cane Creek, there are some very prominent industries. And aside from, as Terry was describing it, maybe the opportunity to have those companies put them on the spot kind of to talk about what they see their role in the infrastructure and safety, because I know that right now the industry is going through a tough time again, and but I also know that the industry Trek and they've recognized the importance. I'm not going to use the value, the importance to get involved in the same issues that we're involved in. Although their support in certain youth activities and stuff, but that's all part of a bigger picture. Maybe having a little roundtable or discussion and frame a topic for them to get together to cross over what Terry was saying, and kind of I'm taking a little different slant, but still on industry involvement in what we're doing. That might be a nice breakout session or something for the summit also, for everybody to consider.
Yeah, absolutely. And, one thing, myself being based in Boone, and I know Ted up in Banner Elk, and just when Avery mentioned what, the counties, one thing that comes to mind for me is obviously the impacts of Helene on, particularly the western part of the state. And as we begin to piece things back together and, just all of the damage to the roadways that have taken place, beginning to look down the road and the future, and as we rebuild those roads and as we look to as those roads are rebuilt, are there opportunities to add infrastructure that may not otherwise have had funding or support or projects related to it? Are there opportunities there for inclusion of more bicycle and pedestrian infrastructure as that rebuilding takes place?
Yeah, I think that's a very important one, Oliver. That's one area our region has definitely focused on, is again that resiliency aspect. And more or less, I feel like it'd be a great breakout session for just ways to get bike and pedestrian projects and even transit stops, things like that, funded by thinking outside the box with different funding sources.
Mhm.
One thing we've tried to do with our MPO is we have a locally administered projects program, but we've tried to take a more active role in administering that project or those projects. So, and I think we've really looked to Hickory a lot because they've been so successful with managing locally administered projects. So I think, if we could maybe have some discussions on resiliency and the funding sources that are coming from that, as well as locally administered project administration,
Mhm.
what to expect, how to support your local governments, especially the small ones. Those are key topics, at least for our region.
Yeah. And, our hope is as we move the summit to different regions of the state, we really hope to draw, with this being in Hickory, we really hope to draw a strong attendance from the western part of the state. So I think,
Especially the small ones. Those are key topics, at least for our region.
yeah. And so I think, our hope is as we move
Oh.
the summit to different regions of the state, we really hope
Very-
to draw, with
is
this
that-
being in Hickory, we really
I
hope
believe
to
that's
draw
playing over.
strong attendance from the western part of the state. So I think
especially this weekend, that's a
there we go. Yeah, so I think it's a great opportunity, and we look to bring strong attendance from Asheville and those other communities along the western border of North Carolina. So, and I know it's tough. One community that comes to mind is Old Fort, and just what huge strides they'd made in the last few years as far as really marketing their community and receiving grant funding to develop programs around bicycle and pedestrian and attracting tourism to their area, and just how hard they've been hit since then. So probably some good opportunities there as well. Anyone else? What about Mo? I know, Mo, you've spoken couple times as we've talked about some topics. Are there any that you can think of that you might like to see as part of this year's summit?
Yeah, I would like to circle back on what Ted had said about the Western North Carolina. I feel like we're really a leader of the outdoors in general, with all these companies popping up with it's us or King Creek or anyone like that, and nothing in particular, but I'm very interested, and I just kind of want to, I really like what Ted said.
Thank you. And again, as I mentioned earlier, and as Terry mentioned, this is not something that we're looking to really flesh out just yet, but we just wanted to get those ideas down and written down so that we can begin to look at that speaker list that we've already compiled and see of those who might fit best into these categories, and then maybe taking these categories and seeing on a national level what speakers we may be able to engage. So, but in the interest of kind of moving along, John Marshall. Okay, I'm gonna.
Yeah, I'll give him a
Thank you.
heads up. He
Yeah.
loves it when I volunteered him for, he loves it when I volunteer him for things. I have several times, but
Okay.
I also don't know, like going back to the road audits and stuff, or bike walk audits. I'm wondering, would there be like, would an ADA breakout session be a good one? Or I had a whole list in my head.
No,
I'll
sorry.
follow back up with
Yeah.
you.
All right. So stepping forward to our next section here is our sponsorship. You'll see there a link in the agenda to a sponsorship package. That is something that is, feel free to share that. Feel free to download that, share it either with your organization, with other businesses in the community. But I wanted to just kind of open it up to a quick brainstorm of those in the local area of what businesses or organizations do you think may match well with the goals of the Bike Walk Summit, and see about either reaching out or giving us contact information, a specific person perhaps that we may be able to contact on those sponsorships.
I can kind of give you a list of sponsors that we've had for different COG events that might, also apply to this event as well. McGill and Associates, They're in Hickory, and they always sponsor like our annual meeting, so I could see if we could reach out to them. I believe we've also had like Duke Energy and Blue Ridge Energy, because they're taking a more active role in trying to include bike and pedestrian infrastructure, parks, things like that.
Yeah.
And maybe just I can't think off the top of my head the different tourism agencies, but that and chambers, possibly.
I would also like to chime in and say, I think most businesses in the downtown area of Hickory would definitely be a good idea because of how we're trying to make everything so walkable and bikeable. And anyone on the city walk, I think, is a good idea that we can kind of bring it to their attention. Whether we talked about having the event at the city walk. I mean, the city walk brewery. I mean, I think that's a perfect example of somebody that could be a potential.
Right. Thank you. Yeah, and to that point, McGill is it's good. It's we always reach out to the engineering and planning firms, kind of the standard ones, the Altas, the BHBs. But it's good to know that McGill has an office there in Hickory that might provide a little bit more backing to an event like this. And just in mentioning that, do you have Avery, do you know of a local contact with McGill, or is that something I'm sure we could look that up, but I'm not sure if you knew somebody off the top of your head.
So I always, and now this is more for transportation related stuff. I always contact Mike Norris. I'm not sure who my overall agency contacts whenever they're trying to, put together sponsors for our annual meetings and things like that, but I can certainly reach out and find out that information.
Yeah, that would be great. All right. So, if Kylie is still here, yeah, Kylie, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about our promotion as far as social media and what publicity and marketing we'll be doing around this, and what engagement you would like to see from the committee on that.
Yeah, of course. So, I follow many organizations on our social media. But if your organization is not one that Bike Walk follows, please drop it in the chat for me and I'll give you a follow. My request is that as we create this content, if you guys could disperse the content we create around the summit into your own networks, whether that be through your organization's channels or through your own, however you're inclined to support. It would really help if you engage with the content that we put out, because it'll help boost our content into the algorithm and hopefully get more people to show up. So if you do not follow Bike Walk North Carolina, I've linked all of our socials. So I'll just request that you give us a follow. Thank you. And it really helps when you're engaging with our content. So
Yeah, to go back on that, if you need me, I can repost anything on the Defeat Instagram or Facebook. I normally take care of that. So anything you want me to repost or in the coming months to, a couple days out, I think that would be really easy to do.
thank you so much.
I will also share with everyone just give me 1 second here, our share kit, which we'll have not only these agendas, I'm dropping this in the chat. But also on the agenda itself. That share kit right now, there's just some notes. It also has, I believe, our sponsorship package in there. But that link there, as we develop more content and more press releases, all of that will be housed in that share kit. And so that is something that we'd like all of you on the committee to have access to be able to share. If you yourself do not have access to your organization's social media, Kylie, if you want to drop your email in the chat there, or on that agenda document, where people can reach out to you with any contact information for who might be their social media manager or content creator for their organization or department. That way, we can kind of work more closely with everyone on kind of a social media partnership, so to speak. And then finally, I did want to open up one thing that we really had success with in Salisbury, and I think it's a great opportunity for Hickory being sort of a similar size community. What local events are there in the community that you feel may be good opportunities for us to either cross promote or even attend to help to get the word out about this event?
Well, Tracy mentioned that event in April that they're having. So Tracy, is there a specific date for that in April, or is it a period of time, or?
Yeah, not yet, not yet. But I do think, like, as far as local events go, that there are tons of things going on. And I think the social media, since the event is going to be held at the convention center, they do some sort of a calendar. Arts Culture Catawba is working on, there is a calendar of events. I don't know if this would fit with them or not, but they've got one. The city, the communication division has a social media presence. And Kylie, I'd be happy to share your information with everybody, all my contacts in that way. And then there are lots of events that are going on. So as time goes on, things that I think, where like with us, even if the date didn't work out for the transportation engineer day, there could be some other things that we've got going on that we could invite you to, be on site to hand out information and talk with people. And we're looking at maybe doing our exhibit right now is called Imagine Design Play. And we're looking at maybe doing a play day, a partner play day, where we highlight children's museums and other partners in our science network. And again, if we have something like that, like you guys could have a table at that event. There wouldn't be any fee. It'd be just a way to connect with our visitors.
Mhm.
And depending on the day and what exhibits we have, there are times where we are really, really busy. In the spring, we're opening our live butterfly exhibit called the Flutterby Butterfly Habitat, and that draws people from all over the state, especially Western North Carolina.
Just thinking about the hospital there in the community and just the work of the Parks and Rec and the trails that are going in. Or do you know of any sort of active health days or health festivals that are taking place? Or does anyone on this committee have any contact information for someone at the hospital that may know that information, or with the city, if there's a city or county health department that may be able to be a good contact there?
I've got contact with the director of communications who would know who all of those people are within the city organizations. And I'm also connected with Parks and Recreation. So I think that they would be the ones that would probably know. And they do a newsletter, I believe, that they put out. So that would be another outreach if you're partnering with them in some capacity already and having workshops at Highland Rec Center. But I could find some of that information out.
That would be great. Yeah.
I don't have a contact currently at the hospital.
All right.
We work closely with Catawba County Public Health, and we've recently been attending a lot of their outreach events because we've done several walk audits in different communities. So I can reach out there, and we also have our own outreach coordinator, and I know he has several events planned throughout the year. I don't know what they are, but I can reach out to him as well.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. Like I said, even if those are not events that we attend, if we can help cross promote those, we are obviously happy to do so. And then, Jenny, as far as the Latin American community there in Hickory, are there any specific issues related to bicycle and pedestrian or health-related issues that you see as good tie-ins or possible events in that community that may be beneficial to engage with?
There's definitely some events. I don't have the dates right now in front of me, but a great place to reach out to the Hispanic community is in Newton, in the Plaza Latina, where there's a lot of local Hispanic-owned businesses. But I can definitely share that information once I get it. I just don't have it in front of me right now.
No, that's great.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people from our community come from other communities, whether it's, western part of the country or another Latin American country. They usually come from walkable places. So it's one of the biggest things that I hear from our clients is that, to get from point A to point B is really difficult in Catawba County. I'll be more than happy to share any events that come up in the Hispanic community where we could probably set up some information. And if something needs to be translated, I'll be more than happy to have either myself or my team translate some material for this event.
That would be great. And then, is there anyone here on the call that has any information or contact with what transit exists currently in Hickory? Whether those are sort of bus or shuttle transportation provided by the city or county?
I just came from a meeting at Greenway Public Transportation. That was going to be my next question, is if you needed someone to set up, shuttle services, because I think a lot of people will probably want to go downtown, which unfortunately is pretty far away from the convention center, because downtown is where most of the Hickory Trail network is. So would it be helpful actually to invite someone from Greenway Transit for the rest of these calls?
That would be fantastic if you could. And you said that's Greenway Transit?
Yeah, Greenway Public Transit.
Yes, that would be a huge help, Avery.
Yep, certainly.
They have a bus system and a like a van, a smaller, and I think you can organize some direct transportation. I believe. Is that right,
That would-
Avery?
Yeah, you're right. They have the ADA paratransit. They have microtransit in some areas, and then they have fixed and flex routes. But I think for this, yeah, we'd probably just need, I'm not sure how many buses we'd be looking at or the frequency of the trips, but I mean
Yeah.
we can talk all that out with Green.
Mhm. And it depends a little bit on, sort of our scheduling, but we've always, in Salisbury, they had, I believe it was their Visitors Bureau had, a trolley system that we were able to rent or provide shuttle transportation for throughout the course of the 3 days of the summit. So that would definitely be something we would be looking for. So if that's something that they offer, any connection that you could provide with us, or even contact information where we could have them be a part of this planning committee, that would be great.
Certainly.
All right. Well, it looks like we have pretty much nailed it on the timing. So we're coming up right at 2 o'clock. So as far as next meetings go, I think I have this currently on the third Thursday of every month. And if this continues to work for everyone, we'll continue this meeting schedule and push out the remainder of that meeting schedule in a calendar request. As we approach the summit date itself, we may look to meet bi-weekly or even weekly in those days leading up to the summit. Hopefully we will be. Oh, sorry, Tracy. Cost to attend. That's a great question. So we have a pay what you will or pay what you can pricing structure. So through our registration system, which we will have up and available very shortly, that it gives options for selection. So it has a recommendation or a recommended registration price for professional members, for public organizations, for students, and then there is a no payment, $0 option. We never want for price to be a barrier for entry. So there is a cost structure available that would accommodate that.
I just had a thought that you have Lenore Ryan University and App State has a campus,
Mhm.
and there's also Catawba Valley Community College.
Mhm.
And so, getting young people out biking and walking is always good.
Yep.
Especially at the campuses, they walk around mostly. And so those might be good audiences to get involved.
Yeah, we will definitely.
The school will be back in session by the time, we'll have just started probably mid-August for most of the
Mhm.
campuses.
Yeah, so we will be looking to engage with those campuses, both at the student and the administration level, to see how what engagement and what interest they have in being a part of the summit or in attending the summit. So absolutely.
One last thing, Tracy, I wanted to circle back on what you said about the colleges. That was a great point you were making about getting them being able to walk. I think LR is very privileged in that, to the point where they could walk downtown or anywhere they need. Frankly, the App campus is, I don't think it's as walkable as anywhere close to what LR is. So I guess that
They are close to the aviation walk, though.
yeah, they are.
So like they're different walk areas. And so there's the City Walk, River Walk, and Aviation Walk right now in Hickory. And so encouraging people to get out and use those facilities, I think would be great.
Yeah, exactly. It's awesome.
I'm gonna have to dip off.
Mhm.
I've got a meeting starting at 2 and I just heard a knock at my door. It was nice to meet everybody, and I look forward to the next meeting.
Great. Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and wrap up there. And I'll just say that we will, I'll share those meeting requests or calendar requests with everybody moving forward. So any other closing remarks from staff or board?
Oh, thanks very much for everybody for attending. That was terrific. Lots of stuff. A bit of a fire hose, but we'll deal with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you guys, everyone.
You bet. Good seeing you, Morgan.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Thank you, Jenny.
Good to
Bye-bye,
see you.
Jenny.
Good Morgan.
Good seeing you, Avery.
See
Always.
ya. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Nice
Okay.
job, guys. Boy, you gave me a heart attack though, Oliver, when you said you got the share kit out there. I was like, I haven't looked at the share kit in a couple of weeks. Is it ready?
The share kit, there's not much in there. Like I said, there'll be things added to it. I haven't added like I think right now it's just meeting notes and maybe the
I looked
sponsorship
at it.
package.
So-
Yeah. So there's no sensitive information or staff board eyes only information in there.
All good. All good.
Well, the info that's on this sheet that, this agenda that you put together is excellent.
Mhm.
So I'm sure that if people would love to see that. I know I would like to, I'm going to be looking at that too. So that's good stuff.
All right.
Great ideas on sessions.
Hmm.
Today has been incredible. Boy, hang on one second. Let me do this.